First of all, congratulations. How long have you been thinking about running for governor?
I've been really excited to come to this conclusion, and it's been based on the conversations I've had in all 83 counties in Michigan. I've been to all of them three times. But what's come to mind over the last couple of years is that people want results. People want people who can get things done, and that's what I am. I'm an engineer, a problem solver, a solution builder who listens to people, who identifies problems with them, and then works with them to get a solution. And if one doesn't exist, we create one together. And so for a couple of years now, I've been considering it. And now's the time to step up and say it's all for Michigan.
Speaking of solutions, since you brought that up, education numbers over the last 6 years since your administration's been in office haven't been going the way you would want. The National Test of America, or the nation's report card, numbers still going the wrong way for math and reading. If you become governor, how do you turn that around?
Well, first and foremost, this is a real and urgent problem in Michigan. And I think about my own family. I have twin sixth graders in a kindergartner in Detroit Public Schools Community District right now. So this isn't a theoretical exercise about what do we do in sort of fake life. This is real life, what happens in my household and my family. I'm doing homework with them every day. And so what we have to do, first of all, is build on the progress we've made. We have dealt with the funding gap that existed between districts where people are fighting poverty like Detroit and districts where people, have more wealth. That's important. But now we have to better support our education professionals so they can do the things that work more easily, and that if something isn't working, they can switch it. Things like how we teach reading. We just signed legislation last year, for example, that's now going to get us back to the basics. It's like teaching phonics, the way that you learn to read, the way that I learn to read. We've gotten away from that in Michigan. So we can support those professionals to be able to do the things that they know work. They know how to help kids get better. And so I really have confidence in them to be able to do it.
The obvious follow-up would be, and I know you're lieutenant governor, not governor, but why hasn't that happened in the last 6 years?
Well, we've been making progress. We thought that funding structural difference is really important. Michigan had underfunded special education for 2 generations, and now we are finally fully funding special education programs in the state of Michigan. So we had to really build a foundation. But my administration is going to be about now using that foundation as a starting point to a bigger future, and about getting the achievement that we desperately need and that families like mine need with kids in public schools.
Historically, or at least modern history, the last 3 lieutenant governors to make a run for governor have all lost. 2 of them didn't even make it out of the primary. How do you hope to not make the same mistakes?
I'm a different kind of leader. Again, I have relationships in all 83 counties in Michigan that I've built over these last 6 years. And I'm the only candidate in this race who's delivered value for people all over Michigan, whether it's from a new wastewater treatment plant to helping free breakfast and lunch to every kid in schools, to building, creating jobs in all these places. And so my record, my relationships, the results I've gotten on the issues that matter: housing, healthcare, economic growth. Like, these are the things that I have that my predecessors didn't have at the same level.
The only polling I've seen so far comes from Mears News. It has you trailing Jocelyn Benson by about 40 points at this point. Your reaction to that, and how can you make up that kind of deficit?
This is about people. This campaign is starting today, and you're going to even see just at my event later on the kind of grassroots energy that we have for this campaign. And it's going to show that we are excited and people are excited about a real person who's delivered results across the board. We're just getting started, and we're going to have a lot of fun building and growing this movement that everyone in Michigan can see themselves as a part of all across Michigan.
I don't know what your relationships are with the other Democrats other than like Jocelyn Benson, but do you anticipate a nasty primary? And if it does turn a little mudslingy, well, how do you react to that?
Well, look, I'm the only candidate in this race with a record of delivering on things like housing. The only candidate who has helped to spearhead hundreds of millions of dollars invested in affordable housing across Michigan. 60,000 new housing units have come online. I'm the only candidate in this race that has helped drive economic growth and diversifying our economy. I'm a technology entrepreneur, but now we have more technology businesses that can be founded here and that can grow here through the Michigan Innovation Fund. That contrast is really clear, and I think we're going to tell the story about what I've done for Michigan, about how I can help the people of Michigan, be their best selves here. And so I'm sure other candidates will have stories to tell, but I think mine is the most compelling.
If you do become governor, you'd be Michigan's first Black governor. What would that mean to you, but also for the state of Michigan?
I think it's important that when people look at their leadership, that they see themselves reflected, but that they see possibility. Like, I'm a kid from the east side of Detroit. I became an engineer because my community believed that it was possible. And so I think if people see diversity in leadership, they see a Black governor, to have Michigan be the first state that's not on the East Coast to have a Black governor, people will think that anything is possible. And that's frankly the kind of same possibility that my family saw when they came up from the Deep South to Michigan. It's the same possibility that families from Finland saw when they moved and when they moved to Western Michigan and Northern Michigan. And so I think Michigan's always been a place of dreams and possibility and making things happen that people have never seen before. And so I think that could represent that.
Being a kid who grew up on the East Side, as you say, I would assume you have an idea as governor the role Detroit should play for the state. What do you envision?
Look, Detroit's the beating heart of the state. It always has been. It's the biggest city with the most people. And it makes sure to drive a lot of our economic growth, a lot of our creativity. And it has to have an amazing relationship with the rest of Michigan. I think for too long, though, you had Detroit didn't have a relationship with Grand Rapids, didn't have a relationship with Traverse City or Marquette. And it's why I've spent so much time on the road getting to know Michiganders from all walks of life. But as a kid, I'd never been to many of those places. But as lieutenant governor, I've been able to serve them. And so I think the connection between Detroit and the rest of Michigan has to be stronger. And it's going to take someone who has the ability to make that connection. And that's the kind of legacy that I built.
As you get going on this campaign, have you gotten any advice from Governor Whitmer? And do you expect her to be out there campaigning for you?
Governor Whitmer has been very supportive of me making this decision, and it's very encouraging. And what her advice was to make sure you're just getting out there and being with people. The people of Michigan know what they want, what they need, and what they aspire to. And so spending time all over the state of Michigan, I've heard that same thing. I've heard that they have challenges related to healthcare access and specifically, mental health. Like I have school-age kids. I see what they deal with every single day. And I know that parents are worried about their kids' mental health supports. And so I've put in place systems to be able to help kids navigate their mental health services, certified community behavioral health clinics, school-based health centers, and other things. I talk to people about the anxiety that they have, about the economy as it changes with technology. What's it going to mean for the auto industry and our union workers? I've worked with them to build solutions so they can find their place in the new economy. Like that's something I'm excited about, and she's encouraged me to do that.
Do you expect her to endorse you?
I think the governor has made it clear that she's going to be not participating in the race at this point, and so we'll see how that goes.
Is it disappointing though that your boss is kind of sitting it out for the moment? Or?
No, I think it's an opportunity for me to talk about who I am and the work that I've done and the relationships that I want to continue to build in the state of Michigan, and I'm excited to have that conversation.